Some people count down to their birthday. Others count down to Christmas. I count down to March. But 4 words, America. This is only February.
This is March. Chicken vodka wrap is to die for.
Welcome to Stuff with Jon Rothstein. Best player you don't know in college basketball.
We have a very high bar on this show. If I let myself go, I'd be 400 pounds. I just want to make sure I don't go all in on chocolate chip pancakes at the diner down the street.
Forget about not sleeping until May. I may not sleep at all, but I wouldn't trade it for anything else. College hoops. Everything else is just secondary.
Who's ready to nosh? Welcome to Stuff with Jon Rothstein. And if you woke up today and felt like you could do a push-up on a picket fence, join the club. Because I looked at my calendar, I saw that we are just days away from the best month of the year, the month of March. And I also remembered that we are just 19 days away from Selection Sunday. Not that anybody's counting. We've got an unbelievable show for you lined up today here on Stuff. In just a couple minutes, we're going to check in with Texas Tech star guard Mac McClung on the heels of the Red Raiders' battle on Monday night against Oklahoma State at Gallagher-Iba Arena. But right now, first, some big picture topics on college basketball in a New York minute. And we start in Durham, North Carolina, where Duke won yet again on Monday night against Syracuse. And I have said time and time again that this is the year of the outlier in college basketball. And that may very well be true. But the Blue Devils right now have a renewed sense of purpose, a renewed sense of relief. Mark Williams, DJ Stewart, two of their talented freshmen playing at a very high level. Duke right now on an upward trajectory to make the NCAA tournament. The next game for the Blue Devils will be this weekend against Louisville. Something off the radar right now. This is quietly a huge week in the Mountain West Conference. Now, on multiple platforms, I have documented that this has been a bounce-back year for that league. The league has 4 teams in contention for at-large berths to the NCAA tournament. I think only 3 will make it. But the 2 best teams in the league will play twice this week. Boise State and San Diego State. They will hook up at Viejas Arena later this week. 2 teams right now that look to be cemented in the NCAA tournament, barring something unforeseen down the stretch. And I am going to finish with the Big 12, and I know that there's been so much attention on Baylor this season, and for good reason, because of how well the Bears have played, and they'll return to action for the first time in 3 weeks tonight at home against Iowa State. But I think there is a real chance that the 7 teams in this conference that are projected to make the NCAA tournament, Baylor, Texas, Texas Tech, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and Kansas, all have the requisites to advance to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. I'm not saying all 7 will, but I believe that all 7, 70% of this league, has the requisites to be a Sweet 16 caliber team. It will be interesting to see how that unfolds. And one of the stars of one of those 7 teams joins us right now on Stuffed on the heels of another epic Big 12 contest Monday night against Oklahoma State. He is Texas Tech star guard Mac McClung. And Mac, before we get to basketball, my well-embedded moles in Lubbock tell me that your favorite band is Fleetwood Mac. How does a kid in college in 2021 get introduced to Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah, first off, thank you for having me, and I'd have to give my dad props on that. He kind of put me on with them, and I've kind of just loved their vibe ever since.
Well, they've got a vibe, obviously, for generations that have obviously passed down to you, but you've had a vibe for a long time because of the brand that you built on social media. How did that initial process evolve?
It just happened in high school. I kind of just went out and played with the AAU team, Team Loaded. Kind of got my name out there, and I had some dunks, and it kind of just skyrocketed faster than I could really understand, and that I could really all take in and realize what was going on.
Well, Mac, it's obvious that you have incredible belief in yourself. You've made big shots, obviously, in games this year. The game against Texas really sticks out. You've also missed a couple of big shots down the stretch. But the thing that I notice is that you're never afraid to have the ball in your hands when things matters most. Where does that confidence stem from?
Yeah, it just comes from my work and my belief in myself. I think my confidence comes in my work. I feel like nobody's worked as hard as me to be ready for those moments, and I've missed some of those shots, like you said, that's haunted me. But I think that's part of the game, and I just have to learn from it and keep working hard.
Well, you're working hard, and that's obviously producing great results. You're having a great season on a team, again, that's right in the mix to play deep into the NCAA tournament. I'm curious, though, as you evaluate yourself, what is the biggest difference in Mac McClung this season at Texas Tech versus last season at Georgetown?
Yeah, I think just understanding the game, Coach Beard has really helped me with that. The film room has kind of been my best friend. We watch film 3-4 times a day. Like it's a lot of film, and I think that's what's really helping me understand the game and be a better teammate and overall player.
Well, and you mentioned Chris Beard, somebody who recruited you to play at Texas Tech as a transfer. It was a much different type of recruiting process this past spring and summer because of the pandemic. What was your first interaction with Coach Beard like?
Yeah, Coach Beard was one of the later people to contact my phone, and like a lot of great transfers, their phone was really blowing up, and then Coach Beard came in late, so I'm like, but he came in late because he did his preparation. He studied everything about me, talked to all the people in my circle before me, and he was just first class, and he just stood out big time.
I've been at Texas Tech practices. I know how intense they are. I know how detailed they are. But you live in that program each and every day, and everybody uses and throws around the world culture in sports. For you personally, how would you describe Texas Tech's culture in basketball?
Yeah, I think it's second to none. That's the biggest thing we work on is, caring about each other and loving each other. So I've never really seen or been a part of anything like this culture. And it's something, I feel like any player should really want to be a part of.
We talked about a little bit at the top of the show the depth of the Big 12, and the Big 12, again, having a team this year in Baylor. That's obviously separated from the pack a little bit, but you guys were very competitive against the Bears in the game that you played early this season. I know that every game in the Big 12 was a battle, but how much, after seeing the type of season that Baylor has had, would you like another crack at them down the road?
Yeah, I think, those teams everyone wants a crack at. They're obviously a great team and play well together, and we feel like we were close, and we felt like we had a chance to win that game, and we should have, but we blame our self mistakes on that, and obviously taking nothing away from them. They're a great program and a great team, but we failed to close out some games we believe we should have won.
Playing in the Big 12 requires the ability to execute in close games. That's something you went through again last night against Oklahoma State. As you have obviously played in those games and have won some and lost some, what do you think are going to be the biggest keys to Texas Tech being its best possible late game team down the stretch of the season?
Yeah, it sounds simple, but we have to get better. Coach was talking about, I think he said it best. He said, if we won those games with a lucky shot or we came out, we'd be feeling great. But did we realize how much better we have to get? Maybe this will stir that up and really help us take that turn, because it has to happen. We have to become better collectively from top to bottom.
Regardless of, the wins and the losses that we've seen already this season, Texas Tech has put itself in position to be a good seed in the NCAA tournament. That's something, obviously, that you've yet to experience. I know, especially when you play at Texas Tech, you're always focused on the task at hand, but what types of emotions and thoughts go through your mind and your body that in a couple of weeks you're going to be able to play in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think we need to take care of business now, and obviously that's a dream for someone like me and our team. We want to be in that mix, and we want to win the tournament. We're not changing our tune, as Coach says. We have a goal in mind, and we have to execute and get better to make that goal happen. And we're all super excited. I mean, March Madness there's nothing like it. So.
Spoken like a true focused basketball player there, Mac. But obviously, people have also said that you do like to have a little bit of fun. You obviously enjoy movies. And again, the deeply entrenched confidants that I've talked to leading up to this interview tell me that Mac McClung loves the movie Wedding Crashers. It's his favorite movie. My question to you is, have you ever crashed a wedding?
I have not, I have not, and I don't really plan to, but I love that movie. I love Owen Wilson. He's one of my favorite actors.
Now, in addition to loving Wedding Crashers as your movie, I also hear that buffalo chicken is your favorite food. Where did that originate?
I don't really know. I think I had it once as a young kid, and I just kind of put buffalo on everything. Literally, almost everything I put buffalo sauce on, and chicken's my favorite food. So those two really go well together for me.
All right, well, if you guys ever play in New York again, I'm taking in my spot, Bar Coastal. They have the best buffalo chicken wings in America, so you're going to be on the house for that meal, Mac. That's a promise. And, just curious, Mac, you obviously have developed into one of the top guards in college basketball, and, you're playing in, one of the best conferences in college basketball, and there's so many great players at your position night in, night out. Last night you went against Cade Cunningham. We talked about Baylor. They have Jared Butler. What is it like, especially when you're somebody as competitive as you are, to not just play against the best, but also test yourself against the best at your respective position?
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things that I've changed in my game the most. I've literally studied every single player as best player that we've played. Like, Cade Cunningham, I've studied film and film and film of him. To every team we play in the conference, Butler and Mitchell, I study all their stuff, because I think that you can grow from other people. So, and they're doing well, and the people in our conference, and I love doing that and learning things I can add to my game. But as a competitor, I feel like I work the hardest, and I'm the best on the floor at all times, and I gotta keep getting better, and I think that's what any good player thinks.
Any successful person will tell you that if you want to be good at something, whether it's sports or something else, that you better be prepared to be lonely. For the people right now who don't understand how hard Mac McClung works, what do you think has made your formula so successful? What goes into it?
Yeah, I think just realizing my priorities in life. You lose a lot of downtime, but this is my life. This is what I want more than anything, and this is what this team wants more than anything. We're not. There's no distractions on this team, and we're going to continue to work, and we're definitely not going to give up, and we're going to keep striving to be the best team we can be.
Well, and you've obviously done that at times this season. You've had some big time wins. We saw it obviously on the road earlier in the season against Texas, and you're testing yourself against, the best competition on a nightly basis. But, I'm curious, it's obviously a different time in the world right now because of the pandemic that everybody's living through. Some of the venues you've played in this season have had fans, others have not. How much have you missed playing in front of consistent attendance all season long?
Yeah, no, that's a lot of fun. That's one of the most fun things. Is weirdly sounds weird, but when like the other fans are really hostile and they don't want you to win, that's almost, as a competitor, you love those feelings. So it's been different, but we still get to play the game that we love. So there's no complaints here.
Whether it was at Texas Tech or at Georgetown, what was the most hostile place that you played in as a player?
I remember Seton Hall was very hostile. Marquette, I think those two were probably the most, since I haven't really had too many packed away games with the COVID and everything.
I hear you. Well, one thing too is we're going to bring it back to food. Food is a big part of this show. I got some avocado toast right here. I'm going to dive into after we hang up with you. But I'm curious, if Mac McClung had to have one meal at one place, where would it be? What would it be?
Man, that's a good question. I'd probably go home. No, actually, I would go to Charleston, South Carolina, and there's this pizza place. I know exactly where it's at, but I don't know the name of it. I know that's horrible, but I can't get it off my mind since I left. I went on their vacation about 2 years ago, and it's still on my mind to this day.
What type of pizza would you get?
Just pepperoni or buffalo chicken.
Okay, so you're a simple guy, basketball, and a couple of good slices. Mac McClung, star guard for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, thanks so much for your time and joining us today on Stuff. Best of luck moving forward here throughout the stretch run of college basketball. Most importantly, stay positive, test negative.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You got it. That's Texas Tech star guard Mac McClung joining us here on Stuff with Jon Rothstein. I'm going to take a little bit right here of a reprieve, and I'm going to dive into my avocado toast from one of my favorite places in Lower Manhattan, Bubby's. Bubby's is a place that is a downtown spot in Manhattan. Great brunch. Great also at catering holidays due to everything that happened this year with the pandemic. I actually got it catered for Thanksgiving. And it wasn't just a home run from Bubby's. It was a walk-off grand slam. Good eggs. Get a little toast here. I'm a scrambled guy. On top of my avocado toast. Other people like fried eggs. I'm a scrambled guy. Let's give this a whirl. High level. High level. Let's take some questions right now in the segment of the show we call Don't At Me, Bro. Ooh, it's tasty. Okay. This is from Bring Back NCAA Football. It's John. Are teams like UConn and Michigan going to be penalized by not playing as much, for not playing as much? No, you're going to be judged by the NCAA selection committee by the product and the team that you are going to put forward in the NCAA tournament. So that's something the NCAA tournament selection committee has been preparing for. It's not going to be an issue. Next question. This question comes from James Michael, and it's, why is Florida State disrespected so much? Well, Florida State, I don't think is disrespected as much because of what it's done in the last couple of years. 2018, Elite Eight. 2017, 3 seed in the tournament. 2019, Sweet 16. So I think that disrespect has been dissipating. They're not going to be obviously viewed the same way as a Carolina, Duke, or Virginia because they haven't went to a Final Four and won a national championship, but that may be coming for Leonard Hamilton's team. Best team in the ACC by far. It's from Jeremiah Sievers, and it's John. Does Utah State have to win the Mountain West tournament to make it? Can they still get an at-large? Utah State, I think, would have to make it to at least the finals because that would mean that they would beat some good teams along the way. Utah State's definitely on the outside looking in right now, but if you look at the Mountain West, and I talked about this at the top of the show, you've got a big week ahead. You've got Boise State on the heels of sweeping Utah State, going to San Diego State at Viejas Arena. The Aztecs back in the AP Top 25. They won 8 straight games by double figures. And now you're in a situation, okay, where the team that I think nobody's talking about, Nevada, has the best point guard in the league in Grant Sherfield. Nevada is a team, and I've said this for weeks right now, that can go to Las Vegas and steal a bid by winning the Mountain West tournament. Next question. This is from Lover of Trains, and it's John. What is the most underrated conference? Great question. To me, the Pac-12 should be viewed nationally as a West Coast version of the Big East that doesn't have a team, obviously, with the cachet of a Villanova. But with that said, you look at the Big East right now, no more than 6 teams will be in the NCAA tournament. I don't think they're going to get 6. The Pac-12 is going to have 4 or 5. But I've said this time and time again, the Pac-12 has great brands, has good coaches, has great players. I mean, I watched, USC last night with Evan Mobley dominate Oregon. I watched, obviously, Chris Duarte do work the past couple weeks for Oregon. I've watched Oscar Da Silva, a player who, if he played at Villanova or at North Carolina or Duke, would be the poster child for college basketball. I think the Pac-12 is a really, really underrated conference. I don't think the Mountain West is underrated anymore because of what it's been doing the last couple of weeks. The Mountain West isn't just a conference that's had a little bit of a renaissance. It's a conference that also has great and fun basketball to watch. There's shot making. There's athleticism. There's different styles. And this is a league, too, that has not good but great home court venues when fans are allowed in attendance. Next question. This is going to come from Maggart, and it's John. What does UConn have to do to get into the NCAA tournament? Avoid bad losses. And that's obviously something that starts coming up this evening against Georgetown. And this is a tricky game for Dan Hurley's team for a number of reasons, but also Georgetown this season has been a venue where NCAA tournament hopefuls have went to die and pick up bad losses. And it looked back to the weekend. Seton Hall goes down there. They give up 10 made threes. The Hoyas win the game. Georgetown has already beaten also Providence and St. John's at home. This is a dangerous game for the Huskies tonight. Next question. Avocado is very fresh. This is from Scott. Can Iowa get back to a 1 or 2 seed by splitting their next two at Michigan and Ohio State and going 3-1 to the finish? Them doing a run in the conference tournament. Look, anything is possible. Iowa obviously is going to be viewed as a different team when it has C.J. Frederick in the lineup. Iowa, in my opinion, can't play its way to a 1 seed. I think a 2 might be possible if other things happen. But, let's be honest. This is a litmus test type week if you are the Iowa Hawkeyes and Fran McCaffrey. You're on the road at Michigan. You're on the road against Ohio State. It feels like you've been playing better defensively. Joe Wieskamp has upped, really, his production. He has had a sensational couple of weeks. I think Iowa, for sure, is a second weekend team. Are they beyond that? Can they get to a regional final? Can they get to a Final Four? We will know more after the next 80 minutes when, again, Thursday night, you've got the big matchup in the middle, Hunter Dickinson on one side, Luka Garza on the next, and then Sunday, you've got Ohio State, a team that traded blows with Michigan on the past Sunday in Columbus and came up 5 points short. I'm going to finish these eggs here before we get into our news and nuggets segment. Good eggs. Good eggs. Put something, peppers in here or something. That's good. All right. Our final segment right now as we close. Ooh, peppers are hot. I feel like Pierce Brosnan right now in the last scene of Mrs. Doubtfire when he's choking on that hot jambalaya. It's going to get you. All right. Illinois had 27 assists on 37 made field goals in the rout on Saturday against Minnesota. The Illini are playing better defensively. They're playing like a team right now that's built to be playing for a berth in the Final Four. Another nugget, the Big East bubble. You look at the Big East right now, and you have tiers. Villanova and Creighton safely in. But the other 4 teams in NCAA tournament contention, UConn, St. John, Seton Hall, and Xavier, will spend the better part of the next 19 days on the bubble. Xavier is an interesting team. They've had a lot of delays in their season due to COVID-19. 3 of the Musketeers' final 4 regular season games are on the road. The one home game, the Creighton Blue Jays. And then, again, I want to point out what USC did on Monday night against Oregon. Held Oregon to 58 points, held the Ducks to 40% from the field without Isaiah Mobley, and it's not shots blocked necessarily with USC. It's shots altered. They only blocked 1 shot in the game, but with Evan Mobley, with Chavez Goodwin, with Isaiah White, USC has become a team, again, with the length it has, with the presence of Mobley in the middle, that does not allow you to post up, that makes it really, really intimidating to drive. They have become a terrific defensive team, especially on the interior. And again, I want to point out that this game was won without Isaiah Mobley, the older brother of Evan Mobley, who was averaging 13 points and 10 rebounds in his 3 previous games. So USC's for real. USC, to me, looks like a team that is going to make a real push towards the top 16 seed in the NCAA tournament. Some games to watch tonight. Illinois travels to Michigan State. Illinois coming off the rout of Minnesota. Michigan State coming off the win at Indiana. St. John's at Villanova. St. John's beat Villanova a couple of weeks ago. But the Red Storm right now, as I talked about a couple of minutes ago, a team on the bubble, and you look at that resume right now for St. John's on Selection Sunday, it's going to say bad losses. At Butler, home against DePaul. How do you erase that? By sweeping Villanova. Huge opportunity for Mike Anderson's squad tonight. A big one in the Big 12, Kansas against Texas. Texas is trying to rekindle the mojo that it had early in the season. In a lot of ways, Texas is kind of like Sylvester Stallone in Rocky 3 about an hour in. He's got to find Carl Weathers. He's got to go back and get the eye of the tiger. Because right now, in a lot of ways, Texas, I know they had a COVID pause and so on and so forth. They blow the 19-point lead at home against West Virginia. You still like the pieces that the Longhorns have in place, but there's still something missing. As of now, with what I've seen, it's hard to pick Texas to get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. And then we've obviously got Iowa State and Baylor. First game for the Bears since February 2nd, since Baylor beat Texas in convincing form in Austin. Going to be interesting to see how Baylor obviously returns having a 3-week layoff. I'd like to thank Mac McClung from Texas Tech for joining us on Stuff with Jon Rothstein. The next time we meet, the calendar will not say February. It will say March. And we have been here for 11 months waiting for what is ahead. What's just 19 days away. A day, a holiday that we were deprived of 1 year ago. But help is on the way. More vaccines will be arriving. And so will a bracket. A bracket that will provide an NCAA tournament like we have never seen before. An NCAA tournament that will not start with the first four on a Tuesday evening. It will start on a Thursday. It is an unbelievable run, an unbelievable journey that will see 67 games packed into 18 days. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Stay positive, test negative, and remember, in the airport of life, college basketball is the Delta Sky Club.